Hello everybody, welcome to my video today. We are doing another simple card with a fun technique, and the technique we're focused on today is going to be doing a catalog case where we are taking this card here and I'm going to recreate that card, but I'm going to do a couple things different so I can show you how easy it is to take the samples that we already have in the catalog and use them as a jumping off point to start creating a card. So we're using the Above the Clouds set here, and it has a punch that goes with it. So you can bundle these two items together and you can save 10%. I would love it if you would place an order with me for all of your Stampin' Up! Supplies. Would appreciate it so very much. All of the supplies that I use are listed in the YouTube description below, on my website, and on Facebook, so it's super easy for you to click on those and place an order. So today, these are the colors I'm using, and I just took a baby wipe and I wiped off my ink pads because they're getting a little bit inky from all of the fun that I've been having with all this new product. So today I just took the colors right from the card. So I'm using Pear Pizzazz, I'm using Pretty Peacock, Pool Party, and then Calypso Coral. And this is the card that we are going to sort of recreate. So let's go ahead and dive in with some pieces. First, I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I cut this cardstock at 5 1/2, which I usually don't do. I usually cut at 4 1/4 to make a different size card, the orientation is different, but this card is gonna open up just like this, and we have that. So I'm gonna do a couple things different, and you can see in this card, there is some designer paper, and it's stamped on the back, and what I'm gonna do is a little bit different, and I'm going to take a piece of this designer paper. This is from the bird paper that we have. It's a really beautiful designer paper. This is going to fit over the entire front of the card. So I'm going to set my card base aside and we're going to work on this piece here. And so we have these two pieces. We have the polka dot piece and then we have the Calypso Coral piece. And I think I'm going to change my mind here for a minute. At first I thought I would use this and put this all the way on the back so it would look like the background piece of the card that's in the catalog. But I think what I'm going to do is change it up and just show you how a few minor changes can make the card a little bit different but have the same feel. So let's take our Calypso Coral piece and take a 1/4 inch off this piece. So we'll have a nice border. So we'll cut this at 5 1/4 by 4. And then we're going to take this designer piece and we'll cut this at 5 inches. And then 3 3/4. And these pieces are going to layer together now. So we'll just layer them together. That almost went flying. It slipped right out of my fingers. So we'll add this piece. And I just love the Calypso Coral and the pink polka dot. Okay, so we have those pieces. Now, the other piece that we have, and I've already cut this, is the stitched nestled dies. Now, this comes together with the Free as a Bird. You can get it as a bundle and save 10%. And I love this piece. Like, I just love the stitch. It's not really stitched, it's just like dots, but it's so gorgeous. So what I want to do now is get my stamp out, and we're going to grab these clouds, just angling them on this block, and that's fine. We will use Pool Party, and we're going to do a couple things here. So the first thing I want to do is just have a piece of scratch paper out here that I can stamp off on. So here's my scratch paper, and my Pool Party ink is right up here. Let me move everything down so you can kind of see a little bit better what I'm doing. Get everything in frame here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to ink up our stamp, and then we're going to stamp it off once, and then we're going to stamp it onto this die cut. So we're going to do that in a couple places. And we'll just randomly put the clouds in. You can do as many or as little as you want, just like that. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this in our ink, and instead of stamping off to make it lighter, we're gonna stamp right onto our Whisper White cardstock. In a couple places. Just like that. Okay, so now we're all done with our pool party. We have this piece. So next we're gonna need a couple pieces of scrap paper because we're gonna use our hot air balloons. So let's grab, we're gonna do Pretty Peacock. And we're gonna use the punch to punch these out, so we're going to stamp them down closer to the bottom. So the first one we're gonna do is Pretty Peacock. So we have the outline of the Pretty Peacock. We'll stamp that. And then what we'll do is we'll take the part that fills in and we're gonna ink that up. And this stamp is meant to look a little watercolored. So you're gonna see that as you stamp your image, is it has this sort of watercolored look to it. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm gonna grab my Stampin' Scrub because I'm definitely gonna need to clean this one because this is how we're gonna color all of our, in all of our hot air balloons. So we'll clean that stamp and set it aside. Let's close Pretty Peacock because you guys know I'll put my whole arm into it. Next, we're going to use, this is Pear Pizzazz. So let's use this style hot air balloon. And we'll stamp it right here. And then we'll take that off. I'm going to set that in my cleaner because I'm going to need to clean that. And then again, we'll color it in. And this is fantastic. This is the way I like to color my images in, when the stamp just does all of the work for me. Just like that. We'll take that off, set it in the cleaner. The very next one we're gonna do is gonna be Calypso Coral. Okay, so we'll open up Calypso Coral, and this one is gonna be the same one we did with the Pear Pizzazz, but we're gonna decorate it up a little bit more. So I'm just turning that upside down so it'll fit. We'll put that there. We're actually gonna be done with that. We'll clean off that part and dry it. Make sure it's nice and dry. And then we'll color this in just like that. Let's clean that so that's done and we'll be able to put that back. And then we're gonna add the little flagged image and we're gonna do that in Calypso Coral. And we actually, I want the flags, there's a flag that's an outline and then there is a flag that is colored in. And we're gonna do that in Calypso Coral. It's just gonna be a tone on tone look, but it will totally work as you layer that ink onto there. It's very, very subtle and that's okay. Okay, so we've done all of our stamping now of our hot air balloons and we're gonna set that aside. Okay, so now let's just punch these out. You're just gonna take the punch, you're gonna line it up and then punch them out. Just like that. Okay, so now let's start bringing all of our stuff over. Here's our card base and then here's the layers that we created. Now for this, I wanna layer it on here, but I wanna snip off the edge here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay it flat. This piece is gonna be flat. So I'll go ahead and use my grid mat to help with my placement of everything. We'll line this piece up, that piece now. Now we're going to take these pieces, and what I like to do is, you guys know, I'm gonna grab my Wink of Stella, and any spot, first of all, I'm just gonna make sure that I have some glitter on here, and what you're going to notice is that when you put your Wink of Stella onto the ink, it is going to reactivate the ink a little bit. So make sure you have a piece of paper you can kind of wipe that off on, and then don't get concerned if things run a little bit or kind of fill in. That's just kind of what the Wink of Stella does, but I'm going to get some glitter on there. Wink of Stella is absolutely my #1 favorite extra item to use on your cards, okay? So now we're going to finish building this scene, and we're just going to place them on here sort of how we want them to look. It gives it a nice white border, and now what we're going to do is we will take this piece of cardstock here. It's just a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and we're going to take the sentiment from the stamp set, and it's right here. I just need a little tiny block. This says, "You're off to great places." We're going to use Pretty Peacock. And this is going to be great because we're not even going to have to worry about if it's straight or not. So even though it's a photopolymer stamp, it's a little bit easier to make it straight. We're not going to have to worry about it because we're just going to punch this right out. And this fits into the classic label punch perfectly, which is a great punch to have. Okay, so we're going to finish this up by taking this tiny strip of cardstock. This is just Calypso Coral. It was just on my desk. It wasn't even like, I don't even know how big it is. It literally was just on my desk, and I thought, what a great way to use this. So we're going to snip off a little piece here. We will add some adhesive. And then we're going to layer these two pieces together, just so that on one side it's sticking out like that. And then what we're going to do is add adhesive here to kind of the middle of the greeting, and we're going to stick it onto this balloon. So remember, this one's popped up some. So we'll add that, and then, of course, no, I won't add a rhinestone. I have one more piece I want to add, which is the stitched heart. This is from the Stitched Label Dies. I actually leave this label heart out because I use it so much. I just love it. So I just leave the little stitched die right out in front of me. It's actually sitting right here. And you can see I just keep it right on my ink pads, right in front of me, because I know I'm going to use it a ton. I'm going to add some Wink of Stella to that. And that is going to be our card, which we cased from the catalog. So let's check them out together. Zoom in a little bit more for you guys. So here is the card in the catalog. And then here is the card that we made. And I'd love to know what you guys think. Do you think this is an easy kind of technique to do, casing these cards directly from the catalog? I really like the way it turned out. I like both of them. I think they're both very cute. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I will be back later this week to create with you some more, and I hope you're having a fabulous day. So much for hanging out with me today and watching my videos. Here are 2 other of my most recent videos. I would love for you guys to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will catch you in my next video. I hope you all have a wonderful day.